Tony, welcome to Gun.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on? What? All right, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker! Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker! Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker.
Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker. Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Knockem Comedy Show.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker.
Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker. Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Knockem
All right. No, you don't have to put those on. That's my mic's attached to it. If we get a phone call, you'd have to put them on to so everybody, so you can hear them. But otherwise, you guys are good. Hi, everybody. It is Thursday. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show. We're coming at you live on Gov's Comedy Club podcast, the YouTube channel, and we are here live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club. Thanks for watching this morning. We have some great guests coming your way. Of course, we ask if you're watching that you please share the link on all your socials. Tell everybody about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club podcast. And what just happened? One of the mic. The camera just fell. All right, no problem. Just give me a second. All right. All right, so we have with us today, as I'm about to turn the camera off so I can see. All right. We have with us today, we have Richie Naso, right? I'm saying that right? Yes. Richie, what's going on here? Okay. Richie Naso is here with us, and Carmin Turco is here with us today, ladies. Carmine Turco. Holy crap! What the hell is going on here? We are live, and that's what happens. All right.
Very live.
I don't know what. And of course, you guys are the lucky ones. I've never had that happen before. Let me make this work here. Okay.
We continue our streak.
See, I'm. What happened? You guys are known for destroying sets or something? Is that
I don't know. I don't think we're known for anything.
No, we're not.
I think that was always the problem.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree though. At least in Richie's case, Richie plays in a ton of bands. Carmin, I'm going to apologize. I didn't know you were coming, so I did all my research on Richie. And I don't have anything on you, so I'm going to have to just go blind and ask you about your history here. But I know Richie's been in a ton of bands.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, Frank knew that he was coming, but obviously Frank is not here.
That son of a bitch, Frank Walker, has bailed. It's a strange week. Do you guys know Diane McCardle?
No.
She's a singer. You guys know Dave Soul?
Yeah.
She plays with him a lot and stuff, and she hosts the show with me every Tuesday. She didn't come in this past Tuesday. Frank, it bailed on us today. I have a few of our regular listeners who watch this show. Well, I say listeners, watchers. They watch every day, and I've had one or two of them tell me they're not around today. So it's a weird week. I don't know what's going on. All right, I think I'm finally set with camera angles here. And Joe Scalo is watching. He says, "What's the name of the guy who hosts this show?" What? That'd be me. Tony. That's me, Tony Walker. Joe, you were on the show last week. You already forgot my name. See that we're not big time stars like him playing in bands like Full House.
No. Actually, I am playing with Joe in Boca Raton on the 2nd of March.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. You do a lot with him, right?
Yeah. A lot of duos over the summer and that sort of thing, and now there's some full band work.
You're one of those guys that play like with a ton of different projects, right?
I like the variety.
Yeah. Can you name every band you've ever been in?
Absolutely not.
How about you, Carmine? Can you name every band you've ever been
in? Yes, I can.
Can you really?
Well, I was a singer-songwriter. So,
oh, okay.
So most of the time we performed under my name.
Oh, okay.
Not all the time, but most of the time.
Okay. And what's the story here? Like, so you guys are you do some projects together then?
Yeah. So Rich and I are cousins.
Oh, okay.
So Rich actually taught me my first chord.
Really?
So putting my fingers onto the fretboard.
Well, that's a start.
And he said, okay, ready? He said, go ahead. I went.
That's pretty much how I play. Yeah.
Pretty close. And then he said, now you're making music.
Wow.
I think I was 12 or 13 maybe.
No kidding.
Yeah,
and he'd already been playing forever. So.
Right.
No, actually, I was 11, I think.
Oh, yeah?
A couple of months shy of 12. So.
Okay. And what was it? Was it the Beatles? Like what made you pick up a guitar in the first place?
Oh, let's see. When I was in the 5th grade, the teacher was letting people bring in albums.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody brought in the second Zeppelin album.
Oh, nice.
And they played side 1, and then they flipped it over, put on side 2. I found myself playing air guitar, telling myself, I have to do this.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good way to start. Zeppelin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just that new documentary's out. It's coming out soon. I can't wait to see that.
I saw it last week.
Oh, what, in the theater?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was pretty good. It was.
You don't seem very excited.
It was kind of clinical. Yeah.
Really?
Well, there was the live clips, and I had seen most of them already anyway.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was just interviews where they were just talking about how everything came together and.
Yeah, but it's the first documentary that, like official documentary. So I would think that I'm kind of excited about that to see these guys talking their own words for once about all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, actually, John Paul Jones was the most interesting.
He's a funny bastard.
That and he doesn't really, people don't interview him that much.
Yeah,
so he's
true.
not really. I never heard his story out of his mouth before.
Sure. So all right. So there you go. There's a reason that it was really good. We'll take it.
Apparently, for Richie, the song remained the same.
Pretty much.
Oh my goodness. I'm only going to let you get away with a few of those.
I forgot you were a comedian. I should not.
Well, not a good one. Not a good one. Lester Solinder? Soldinger says, hello, girls, he says.
Thanks, Lester.
And he says, Naso can play with an exclamation point. And then Joe Scalo says, I was being sarcastic after watching the lead in Tony. Oh, okay. Yeah,
because it shows your face a lot?
Yes. Well, as the host, they have to show my face. Now Lester's saying hi to Scalo. Yeah, it's all nice community. Everybody's saying hi to each other. So that's cool. So you guys are cousins, and you did you get into bands together right away, or you kind of?
Well, no, because I grew up in Smithtown, and Carmin grew up in Briarcliff Manor, so it wasn't like we saw each other.
Yeah,
a
right.
lot,
Yeah,
mostly holidays and that
sure.
sort of thing.
Briarcliff Manor. That's
Westchester.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. That explains it. Okay. Wow. All right. So we're talking before about all the different bands you're in. Is it weird for you to be here and be able to be the main guy here, because you're usually hiding behind Scalo or you're hiding behind Ed Ryan? You're finally hey, this is my turn.
No, not really. No.
Did you ever wonder though, as you're up there with Bowie Station, you ever just look over and what the hell is wrong with that guy, Ed Ryan?
With Ed? No. I mean,
come on. Everybody wonders that.
No, after working with him, once we started this thing, he's really a perfectionist.
Absolutely, no, he's great. I'm just being stupid.
And he's really conscientious about what he does, and I'm more of an agent of chaos.
Really?
So I think I balance that out a bit, where he'll be surprised by what I'm doing every now and then and react to it. And I don't think he generally gets to have that much.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
And so he seems to enjoy it.
What a ball of energy that guy is.
Yeah. Well,
holy crap. I always mention it on here. It's a very interesting story to me because he built his roots here on Long Island in the comedy scene. And he was a pretty popular comic on the local scene, and then kind of pretty much abandoned that, more or less. Switched gears, got into the music scene, playing guitar and singing, and he's had the same level of success, if not, I would say even more success as a singer than a comp. He's had two very successful careers, which is just, that's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, and the singing, I mean, he plays with, Trans-Siberian Orchestra and all these different
he just got
things.
That not too long ago.
How's the Bowie station going?
Slow.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
surprised to hear that.
Well, a lot of venues already have their Bowie tribute that they use.
Oh, is that right? You're the only one that I know of around here.
Well, the ones that play regionally and that sort of thing, which is sort of what we were looking to do. And, and plus, every other one of them, they're doing an impersonation of Bowie. And Ed singing Bowie, you know.
Right. Yeah. But I'm surprised. I would think Bowie is kind of like here on Long Island, especially, we have 300,000 Billy Joel bands,
right?
And I would think it's the same. Because Bowie is.
I'm in two of them.
Oh, is that right? Which ones? I thought you were serious. Because everybody is.
Right.
But Bowie is like Billy Joel, and the Beatles, like where people can't get enough. So I would think that there'd be enough room that you guys could, would kind of take off.
Well, we're. I think April 5th we're playing Stephen Talkhouse.
Oh, very nice.
So that's a pretty prestigious place to play.
Yep,
So that'll
sure
look
is.
good.
Okay,
good. Say, they played the Talkhouse. Maybe we can hire them.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Well, plus the fact you guys are really freaking good. How about that?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That.
I've seen you guys. I know plenty of friends that have seen you guys. And Ed kind of, he has a following.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's known in the local scene. All right. So, Carmin, now what about you? Do you play? Is it just Carmin Turco out there doing acoustic stuff? Do you have a band? Are you in a whole bunch of projects?
The story goes like this, Tony. Years ago.
Yeah.
When we started playing together, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So we had our run at it. We made records and
nice.
And released them. We played mostly around in New York. But I mean, I don't know how much into the downturns do you want to talk about? But we had a series of just
the drugs, the women. Is that what you mean?
Luck. Yeah. No, just more professional bad luck and a lack of adoption. You know? We felt like we were doing good work, did the best that we could with it, but it wasn't getting picked up anywhere. But we also had a lot of just weird things that happened along the way that I don't know happened to anybody else. With our first record, the guy that did the artwork for our first record, turns out he was a pedophile and went to prison.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What was the album cover?
Well,
drawing of a little boy? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, I won't give the name of the record because I don't want to encourage people to go out and look for it. But it's a nice picture, and it is of a child in angel wings.
Wow.
And on first blush, it's not. There's nothing,
Right. Well, yeah, I think
of
the band Blind Faith with Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood. The cover is like a 13-year-old girl with no shirt on.
Oh, yeah, you'd know that.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that, but then I don't know that the guy that took that picture for Blind Faith went to prison.
Yeah, right.
So
now you say we. You're talking about something a project you guys did together?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one. And then like we're trying to get gigs and stuff, and we ended up playing over the years in shows that we produced ourselves. So we did one in a train station, the lobby of a train station.
That's an awesome idea.
We could. We did one on Bank Street. We did one across the street from Lincoln Center in New York City.
Nice.
So we were like, because we couldn't get booked in regular places. Then once we started to get booked in regular places, we were putting on good shows. I thought we were putting on good shows.
I did too.
Doing originals or
original music?
Okay, yeah. So and who
that we wrote and arranged ourselves?
Okay.
With the band.
That's cool.
And yeah. Is that a call for you?
It's I have the phone number up if anybody wanted to call, but we've had issues. So if it comes up private name, I don't answer it. So because we've had issues in the past. So you guys aren't the only ones with weird scenarios. So if you were an innocent caller who just wants to talk to the guys, you got to change the settings because I don't answer I've had issues here with people who call in to troll and prank and
Baba Booey.
Well, but they get a little more personal. I have an autistic daughter, and I actually had a guy one time call and made comments about my retarded daughter. And I have no problem saying it.
Hey,
if I find that guy, I'm going to beat the shit out of him.
Get your shit together.
That's right. Surely there's better things to do, right? Like listen to some great tunes and hang out and have some laughs. So unless you put in the comments that it was you, and then we'll let you call back. But let's see. Okay. So, all right. So, other than that, are there other albums and that you guys have made?
So we had our run with it, and Rich, just feel free to add in anytime.
Okay.
But we had our run with it, and during our last recording session, the plan was we did all the tracks in the studio, same studio we had worked in for years.
Right.
And the plan was I was going to take the tracks home and sing them myself.
Right.
And it didn't work out. It was bad. I couldn't get the sound I wanted. I was working alone, which is I didn't realize at the time. It was very difficult to do without having somebody go, no, that's okay, or let's do this, and you're just trying to get through it alone. And little by little, I tried many times over the years to do it, and I couldn't get it.
Huh.
So people who have seen our website will know the deeper story, but basically I had felt like I had to finish it.
Right.
And I had a bandmate years ago when I was in New York. Was friends with producer Ben Wish. Ben Wish had done Mark Cohn, Walking in Memphis.
Yep.
He'd done a lot of other work too with bands that from the late 70s and early 80s that I just adored. So I tried every place. I went to New York, Sound Station, you name it. I went there to try and book. I didn't even get replies. People didn't even reply.
Let me ask you, for people who are watching that aren't musicians. So you say you couldn't get it. So what were you looking for by contacting these people?
If you want to know what I was looking for, go to ifthestarsalign.com and listen to the free record. That was exactly what I was looking for. Okay. But there was two things. There was the thing about the songs being unfinished,
right?
Which our bandmate Mark had pointed out. A couple of the lyrics that just didn't make sense.
Okay.
And so they required more work, and something about the vocals not getting there and the lyrics not quite being done made the project kind of get further and further away.
Sure.
But so I had this friend who had mentioned Ben Wish, who had done all that work back in the early 90s with Mark Cohn and other people. And so nobody had gotten back to me, and I was an absolute Hail Mary. He had an email address on his website. I emailed him a really basic thing. We got some tracks. I want to sing to them and get them mixed and mastered. He wrote back the same day.
Wow.
Now, that means a lot. It meant a lot at the time because you're just banging your head against the wall for years and years and years. And it turned out to be a great experience. I was able to work with him and get through the vocals really well. And it came out great. I think it's the best work that we'd ever done.
Wow. Now, so you mentioned If the Stars Align. So this is the album that took 20 years to make.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, because you were trying to find the right person to help you with the vocals and get it all going.
I first thought that person was me. It wasn't me.
Wow.
Apparently, I'm not a very good producer. I suck at producing myself. So I really needed, someone with that sort of expertise. And
now, and does that person, in this case Ben, help with, do they help with the writing? Do they just motivate you to write? Do they help, get a certain energy out of you when you're recording the vocal?
What happened was when I went back and said, okay, I'm gonna plunk down some more money and actually finish this.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but it's all of the songs, and you're working through all of them, and I don't like this song, and why don't I like this song? And you're just like going through all this stuff, and there's songs that were personal songs, so it was difficult in that way.
Sure.
As well. Once I arrived at Ben's, I had all the lyrics that I wanted.
Okay.
And Ben Moore made suggestions about mood and attitude, how I was singing, how close to the mic I was, but he let the artistry of what was going to come out of my mouth come out of my mouth, and then he tweaked it, make me sound like a rock star.
I whenever I have musicians in here, I always find similarities between musicians and the comedy world.
Absolutely.
And that's actually one of them. We here at Governors, actually at all three Governors clubs, they have comedy classes. And that's one of the main things they drive home. Doesn't matter how good or bad your joke is. You got to get behind it 100%. You got to sell it. You have to show the audience that you're behind it, just like trying to sing a song. Yeah. It's not just going in there and singing. I've seen documentaries and different things where you see the producers, behind the glass trying to get, energy and emotion out of the person who's singing.
Do you mean more cowbell?
Well, kind of, yeah. Yes, that's what I watched. Yes, you figured me out.
Usually, generally speaking, if I'm listening to music, the first thing that I look for to decide whether I like it or not is, do I believe this?
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Sounds good.
It's kind of, you listen to the first Led Zeppelin record, and you just hear that Robert Plant wants to get with every woman within the 50-mile radius. It's in his voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's in a lot of places.
that too. But we'll let him discuss that.
But it's true. You can, in order to believe it, you can hear the emotion in Robert Plant's voice. Yeah. You can hear I think of Zeppelin. I also think of Queen. Like, the music is so complex. You can hear, you can get how much went into making this music.
Yeah.
The stuff that is not just your 3-chord rock and roll. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Zeppelin and the Beatles and like I said, Queen. Like, there's so many layers and there's so many things going on that I think that helps convince the listener to believe it because there's so much to it.
If they do it right.
Yeah.
A lot of times the emotion can get lost in all the technical stuff, and then it's just a lot of notes.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
Rush kind of went through a thing like that, where they kind of went off into that weird thing with the pedals and the, and then they kind of came back to,
yes,
their original
agreed.
thing. Yeah.
Joe Scalo says the remixed album that Rich played me on our way to a gig last summer is excellent. Now, is he talking about the same thing?
Yes, he is.
If the stars aligned. So if the stars aligned. So now it took 20 years. You finished it. So now it is available?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And where can they find it?
Well, it's available at ifthestarsalign.com.
Okay.
It's also available on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get music, you'll find it.
A physical CD too, or no? Just
actually,
download.
Rich, didn't somebody make one?
I uploaded it and burned myself a copy.
You made one, but I think somebody we know actually made one. Oh, maybe
really?
Somebody else told me.
And was the cover okay? The cover was all right. Yeah.
Rich is showing a little nipple, but
nothing wrong with that as long as
we
she's
got
of
a
age.
pasty and took care of it.
That's great. Robert Plant, otherwise known as your backdoor man. I have no idea what that means. We have a few people that watch that I don't know what they're talking about half the time, and that's one of them. His name is Andrew Fremder. He will be. I feel like I have to warn my guests, every single one of my guests, about him. So, and of course, and now the comment has been removed. All right, now it's gone. All right.
That's a very I think, specific reference to something that he sings in. Since
Oh,
I've Been
Whole Lot
Loving
of
You.
Love, right? I want
Since
to
I've
be a
Been Loving
backdoor
You.
man. Oh, Since I've Been loving you.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
says that.
But does he doesn't
See,
say,
Andrew, I'm a fan. I wasn't making that up.
doesn't he say that in A Whole Lot of Love also? I
says
want to
it
be your
once.
backdoor man.
Oh, yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, I was going to say, no, that backdoor man, that's the Doors. But then, but then slowly the wheels are turning. And I'm like, no, it's Plant sang it too.
Yeah, he's used that a few times.
Yeah.
Right.
So one thing you talked about was plopping down money. And I think that's I think people, civilians, so to speak, they'll watch a comedian, they'll watch a band, and they just, these guys, got it made. They just have to go up there and tell a joke or sing a song. They don't realize, whether it's a band or whether it's a comedian, especially a band that does originals, there's all that work being put in to write and then be satisfied with the finished product. Same with telling a joke. It's not just up there and saying, why'd the chicken cross the road? No, you have to come up with something and make it good. And then on top of it, there's situations like that where you have to lay down some money to get a good producer, to get a good place to record, to make it all work. And I'm not asking for numbers, but I'm sure that really kind of, I would think after 20 years that was part of the reason it took that long. Or no?
Not exactly. I mean, there were definitely periods where recording like that was not going to be possible. But there were periods where it was, and it just, you're meandering through it all, and relationships and life situations and health situations, and you're just trying to, navigate your way through it all.
Kids?
No.
Oh, okay. Because kids, they get in the way of everything.
With you?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. My kids are always in the way.
No, I meant
just.
Do you want to have kids with me?
What?
Kids?
No, with you?
Okay.
All right. Let's backtrack a second. You were talking about life and stuff, and then I was just trying to say that kids get.
I mean, at the. I don't want to turn it into like a bummer thing, because I think it actually could be funny, like to mention something. We did one of our last performances at a deaf high school in Jackson Heights, right? Jackson Heights?
Yeah. That might have been the last one.
It might have been the last show we did. For deaf, I mean,
that was actually
it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was great. And we all learned a lot, and it was great. Except our last show was for a room of deaf people who, and the thing is about that anyway, there are very few people, as we learned, are stone deaf. Most people have some level of hearing.
Correct.
And they can amplify that hearing in a variety of different ways.
Right.
One way they did was a lot of the kids brought balloons to the show.
Yeah.
And the balloons vibrate, when you're playing, and they feel the vibration in the balloon.
Really?
And that particular show, we had put together a stage show that had a variety of different visual cues. So when the drummer was playing the drums, it was like a screensaver. I don't know if you ever had those back in the day, but when he'd hit it, you'd see it on a screen behind him.
Okay.
The enormous screen that we had. And so we tried to put that all together.
Wow.
We played video, while we played and stuff, just to make it a more visually appealing. We had signers, that's what they call them, American Sign Language signers, signing the lyrics and
that's cool.
It was really something. But those are the kinds of shows that we did, which were fun.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of prep went into that show, and it also
I bet.
kind of derailed our recording. That took 20 years to come out.
Yeah.
But see, and I find stuff like that, like I personally think that's really cool. That's really something different, interesting. That, excuse me, if like you kind of, let's say 20, 30 years ago, that if you kind of made it big, you wouldn't have experienced something cool like that. That's kind of how I look at stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I can recall plenty of things that I've done here or in this room that, I wouldn't trade the experience for the world, and it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't this guy who didn't make it, and it's just who nobody knows, but I just have this little show in the studio.
I'm glad you brought that up, because coming down here, I was thinking,
where the fuck are we going?
Right, I was thinking, as far as I know, there's no podcast for the unbelievable dearth of talented people who tried but didn't make it.
Right.
And there's so many in comedy. There's so many we know in music.
Yeah.
That you see them dead on the side of the road while you're off to the Mercury Lounge, and
right.
Their bands break up, and they were great bands.
Yep, absolutely.
But I think somebody should do a podcast. Invite them one at a time. Here's this music. It's really, really good.
Well,
it's not available anymore, but tell us the story about what happened with you guys.
Well, that's to Frank's credit. That's what we do every Thursday. Frank brings in a musical guest, and they're all very similar stories.
Are we the washed up guests? For
Yes, we are.
Well, you're not washed up. It just hasn't been discovered yet. Right? You're not done.
Today.
Right?
Now that's an optimistic view. There you go.
Hey, everybody's a loser until they do something right. Well, not something right, but until everybody sees it or hears it, I don't know. Yeah. Never mind. But no, definitely not washed up. The show should be called Almost Famous. There you go. Frank Cafora said that. Frank Cafora is the drummer in a band called Seconds Out. They're a Genesis tribute.
Oh, okay.
They're fantastic. Love those guys. In fact, Frank, when are you coming in? Not this Monday. I think it's the following Monday you guys are coming in. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Right. Okay.
Getting back to that thing, Tony, about the comedy and music correlation.
Right.
There's a lot about a stand-up set and a music set that are really similar. Jokes are these little snippets like songs, right? They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They have a point. They have a cadence and rhythm that you constantly are screwing with to get it right. And unfortunately, for stand-ups, you have to do that in front of people. We can do it in front of each other, and like, that's not quite right. But in order to get the cadence right, you got to stand up in front of people who generally don't know you. And
I mean, yeah, I mean, comedians, just like musicians, they do open mics, and that's where they gauge a lot of that type of thing. I personally, I don't get anything out of the open mics. The comedians don't go there and really pay attention and laugh. Like you're not getting a lot of feedback there. A lot of times you're up there, but the other comedians
nervously working on their
and they're the whole audience. You're not getting a lot of outsiders that are coming. Like people don't say, "Oh, I'd love to go see an open mic tonight." It just doesn't happen that way. So I personally find I have to be in front of an actual audience, people that don't know me, not comedians, and believe me, and it's trial by fire. I've been on this main stage where I tried a couple jokes, and I'll even say, all right, I got to make mental note. That one doesn't work. Get rid of that joke.
Comedy is really tough. I don't know how you do it. Because you have to be really smart and really fast all the time.
Yes.
And music is not so much like that.
I agree to a certain extent. Music, all you got to do is play a song everybody knows and you win them over. But at the same time, it's got to be good.
The trick performing music is you got to be really good at covering up your mistakes.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. Just cover up your mistakes really well and make good decisions while you're playing, and you'll do fine.
What do they say? If you make a mistake, do it again. That way everybody thinks that's what you have to do.
I've never heard that. I generally don't do that, but
Rich would have made a great concierge. Like, you make a mistake, just cover it up.
And tell nobody.
Right.
You saw nothing, you heard nothing. Well, for me personally, I was telling Carmin before we went on the air, I have a comedy troupe. We do audience interactive comedic murder mystery shows. We do game shows. We do a bunch of different things. And dinner theater. And I've been in that business, almost 30 years. So, and stand-up, I've been working in here for almost 7 years. I've only been doing stand-up maybe 5 or 6 years. And I do feel because I have an acting background, because I do audience interaction where you have to be quick, and doing it for so long that it's, I've been able to hone that skill, that it definitely gave me a little bit of an advantage when doing stand-up because I feel like I got timing. I do have the skill to shoot back at somebody if if an audience member says something to me. But now I just need to work on the jokes. But
there's another really big difference that comedians have that musicians don't have, and that is the response.
Right.
When you're playing music, there is no knee-jerk response to it, unless you make people cry. If you're Barry Manilow and making the young girls cry, and you can see the reaction. But when it comes to comedy, if you're on, you know it immediately. If you're off, you know it immediately. But with music, and people go, very nice. Thank you so much for playing that song. I didn't really like it, but I'm gonna.
Well, all right. So that's one thing too. We rely so heavily on the audience energy. I mean, we have to.
We rely so heavily on alcohol.
I say that all the time. The drunker they are, the better they like the show.
Us too.
Yeah. I think he's trying to hint that
actually, I was wrong. There is a reaction that musicians get that's very similar to the knee-jerk reaction a comedian would get with laughter, and that is throwing your bra on the stage. Now, if you throw your bra on the stage, that is a communication that's very well received and understood.
Sure, absolutely. Now, has that happened to you guys?
I always keep my bras on.
All right. I once did a show where a girl did, open her shirt for me.
Nice.
And it was one of the best days of my life. Absolutely.
That did happen, but not to me. It happened to Edgar when Desert Highway was playing at Jones Beach on the band shell.
Yep.
There was this girl in front of him, and she holds up her cell phone, and she says, "This is my horse." There's a picture of a horse, and I'm kind of looking like Ed's standing here. And Edgar looks at the picture of the horse, and he's playing, whatever Eagles song we were doing.
It had to be Desperado.
No, it wasn't Desperado. It should have been. But and then the next thing, she takes a step back and lifts her shirt up.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like how you say that was done for Edgar.
Well, it was done for Edgar.
You stand right next to Edgar when you play.
She was looking right at him.
No complaints. It's still boobies. I'll take it.
Edgar caught hell from his girlfriend, and I just got all the benefits.
In 1995. I saw the Stones at Giant Stadium. I had really good seats. I had like 10th row, and I was like right in front of Keith Richards. It was perfect. There was this girl right in the front, and she was dancing away. She was in a nightie, and I'm telling this girl, I don't know what she was on. She was flying. This girl was flying, dancing around right in front of her seat, dancing. Like, I don't even know if she heard the music. Like, they're playing like Angie or something, and she's like,
Right.
But eventually, like, it all just came flying out, and I don't even think she knew it. And they were just flopping for the rest of the show for a good hour at least. That last hour of the show, I think I was watching her more than I was watching the Stones. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Rolling Stones and titties. I mean, really.
Was Keith paying attention?
He didn't say anything about it, which surprised me. I thought for sure he was going to say something. But, I think everybody on that stage took a turn to just kind of doing one of these as they were playing. I mean, how can you not, right? That's one of the best things about it. So, all right. So you mentioned Desert Highway. That's another band that you're in.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Eagles guy. And the Eagles, I mean, they're known for some really memorable guitar solos. Mm-hmm. Do you guys, do you make a point to stick to it? Stick to the original, or do you take your own liberties and? Like,
there's a lot of things that have to be done.
Right. Yeah.
Probably more so than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But wherever we can take liberties, we do.
Right.
From my perspective, it needs to feel natural doing it.
Yeah. Sure.
And sometimes, if you're playing exactly what's on the recording, it doesn't feel natural.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit all the signature stuff, and whatever's not a signature thing, you can fill in your own.
Sure. I would think, though, like Hotel California, you're probably going to do that solo note for note, right?
Yeah. That one, nothing gets changed on that.
Yeah.
My role in that band is also we have 3 guitar players, so my job is to sort of tie it all together. And,
wow.
Because they're singing and I don't get a microphone.
Right.
They don't let me. We tried it once, didn't work out so good. And,
so you're the Don Felder.
We don't really do it that way.
I know, but that's
it's not divided up exactly like that.
Yeah, but that's what they did to him. They wouldn't let him sing.
That's true.
What was the
Victim of Love?
Victim of Love. That's it. Yeah,
his tune, and he was going to sing it.
I was
or
promised.
He sang it, and then they sent him out for lunch, and when he came back, Don Henley's vocal was on it.
Right. Yeah. And he never let go of it.
No, he never did. If he would have just kept his mouth shut and cashed his check, he'd
That's
still
it.
be there today.
Absolutely right. When you play with these tribute bands, do you get like? I hate going to a concert and sitting near people. In fact, I'm going to say it. Beatle fans are the worst with this, where they sing everything like exactly the way it was, and like they work in every scream that's during the guitar solo, like they do everything exact carbon copies. That makes me nuts. And I'm assuming in a tribute band you must get people like these hardcore freak fans that are like, oh well, you didn't do this, or you didn't phrase it the same way. Like you must get some of that, no?
A lot of times it's complaints about a song that we didn't do.
Oh, okay.
They have a big catalog with a lot of hits, and you're not going to get to it.
Right.
Get to it all if your set is an hour and 45 minutes, including the encores.
Right.
Because that's what the venue wants.
Right.
We'd have to do a 2.5 hour show at least.
Sure.
And then you'd still hear, well, you didn't do this,
Right. Hardest Bowie song to play, hardest Eagles song to play.
Wow. I'm at a loss. I don't
Really?
know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're all very easy for
It's
Rich.
what
I was going to say, yeah, he's that good.
No, I mean, what am I most likely to forget as I'm doing it? That's really it.
Yeah.
Whatever I forget is the hardest, because now I'm trying to remember it and cover the mistake that I've already made.
Frank Gaffora from Seconds Out is calling in. Let's see. Hello, Frank.
Hey, buddy. I'm sorry I had to call. I hope you don't mind.
No.
I want to chime in on this because, oh my God, yes, with the hardcore fans.
Oh, so you guys do get that?
Oh yeah. We get things like in fact that YouTube video that you were part of. We had some guy say, maybe you should research the sound of Phil Collins drums to get them right. And it's like, well, Phil Collins played 4 different types of drum kits throughout his career, and I can name them all. Sonar, Pearl, Premier, Gretsch. Everyone knows it for the Gretsch.
Right.
So and you're talking about before Peter Gabriel left, after he left, before they started doing the pop stuff. What sound are we talking about? Or you get like, well, the keyboardist did this at Shepperton back in 1973. Your keyboardist didn't do it. It's like, so what?
Right? Yeah. I would have to smack somebody if they said that to me.
It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. So I feel your guest pain where you do run into that.
And that's why I said the Beatle fans are the worst, because I can't stand these people that show up to shows in their Sgt. Pepper outfits and then they talk like they knew these guys personally. Like, shut up, sit down, enjoy the show.
It's like this level, when you have that level of, for lack of a better term, expertise.
Yes.
You want to let people know that you know that stuff. So I have a friend, a very good friend, whose name I'm not going to mention because I don't want to get mad at me. He's a huge Beatle fan. Like anything you want to know about the Beatles. I mean, he probably knows John Lennon's like blood type. You know, that he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Do you know John Lennon? He was never circumcised. I know that. Oh shit! Well, how do you know that? I'm a big fan. Great, thanks for that.
No, that's not a big fan. That's called a stalker.
And you're saying that like it's actually, you know what's funny? He did. They did stalk his house when he was kids. Him and his buddy, they rode their bikes past his house, and for a while he was staying up like in the North Shore in Nassau County, and they tried to sneak into the property.
Oh my goodness!
So,
wow.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't want to take up the rest of the show, but yes, it is a thing. The fans are into the music, though. That's the important thing. Like,
right.
They're really into the music.
Yeah. That's definitely the positive to take out of it, but I still want to smack them.
You know what? I want you to come to our next show. Anyone gets out of line, you're the guy.
I would love to. I'll hit him with my leg.
All right, guys. Sure. Thanks for letting me call in.
Thanks, Frank. We'll see you in about a week and a half.
You got it, buddy.
Thanks, pal. All right, there's Frank checking in. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, Carmin. So, you're not involved in the tribute world, or are you?
No,
okay.
I'm just a big fan of Desert Highway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very nice. That's Mike.
Mike Green.
Mike
yes.
Green, right? Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had the right one. Yeah, you guys are phenomenal. I've seen you guys.
Yeah, he does the Beatle thing too.
Right.
He takes a lot of liberties.
Yes, which is great. Just play. It's still the song.
Who's Mike in the Beatles?
He's McCartney.
Yeah, that's the one McCartney stuff. Plays bass there.
All right.
And some piano.
Does he?
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like, sorry, Mike, but in between songs he'll talk in a fake British accent. I'm like, all right. No, does he not do that?
I don't recall Mike doing that.
Oh, or maybe I definitely have the right guy, but maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody else.
Oh, wait. You know what? I think when Mike Piniella was in the band,
Mike Piniella does that, yes.
But Mike Green didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pinella. But Pinella's funny, and he's a good guy, so I'll leave him alone. He's been in here. He's great. But I'm like, just be yourself up there. Like, unless you're going full throttle, with the wigs and Bowie or whatever. Unless you're doing that, like. Do you watch other tribute bands, or do you follow that scene at all, or
not much? No. But actually, it's kind of a funny story. It was with Ed anyway when he was in Petty Rumors.
Oh, sure,
right?
Yeah.
The guitar player Chris had surgery on his finger, and so he had to heal. And they had a gig at Eisenhower, so I filled in. And
you were Mike Campbell, or.
Yeah, and
Lindsey Buckingham,
both of them, depending.
Yeah,
and that's where I met Ed. I guess at the rehearsal.
Oh, okay.
And backstage we were talking about the whole impersonation thing, and I said, yeah, it's not really for me, but I would consider dyeing my hair blonde and being Mick Ronson in a Spiders from Mars tribute.
Right.
And that's what kind of sparked the whole thing.
Oh, wow. So we have you to thank.
Yeah, I guess if I never said that, we probably wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. Wow. Joe Scala, when I've done Beatles tributes, I speak in an Italian accent. I think that's just his normal voice.
It's a good to do this, Joe. It's a good. We need to keep this way of talk alive because other people that came up for us, they no longer here no more.
Okay, Ringo. 1 and a 3.
Joe also says he snuck onto the grounds and into the house about 3 months before he got killed. I guess he's talking about Lennon. Where are you talking about, Joe? What, his property, what was it, in Cold Spring Harbor? Is that what you're talking about? So you actually snuck onto Lennon's house? Did you see him? Wow, that's...
Yeah, I worked with a stalker.
Now, I grew up in Hicksville. I can't tell you how many people contact me from all over Facebook, I'm going to be in New York and I want to see Billy's childhood home. Billy Joel grew up in Hicksville. I'm like, I actually knew a girl who just up until recently owned that house. You know, she wasn't connected to Billy. She bought it years later. And she actually reached out to me because she knows I'm a part of Billy Joel groups and I know a lot of people in that world. She actually used to contact me. Can you please reach out to people and tell them to stay off my fucking property and stop taking pictures of my house? Like,
I feel for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
feel for you.
I just don't. Now, fine. I like going to historical places like, you know, Ford's Theater, you know, where Lincoln was shot, and the White House. Like, but I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, what are you going to Paul McCartney's house? What are you going to Billy Joel's childhood home for? Like, what are you going to see? Like a house with windows and like I don't. That just doesn't compute in my head.
That's one you could have looked up online.
Right.
But,
so it does. So I used to kind of go after people. Stop! Don't go to the house. Leave my friend alone. You know. To me, that's kind of crossing the line a little.
When I lived in New York on West 78th Street, I lived in a building that was very famous, and it was famous for not being in a movie. So You've Got Mail, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan. Towards the end of the movie, there's a very critical scene. I think I've only seen it once or twice, but it's a very critical scene. I don't think they know that they're in love with each other, whatever. But the scene is shot very specifically. It's shot over Tom's shoulder, over Meg's shoulder, and they speak back and forth. It's a very pivotal scene. You never actually see my building.
Okay.
Which was 118 West 78th Street. But if you look up 118 West 78th Street and you see this really ugly building, it's not in the movie, but they stood right there. So what would happen is, especially in the springtime, you'd walk out and there would be people there taking selfies and whatever, and it's like this whole crowd in front of this very nondescript, brownstone building in New York.
But now on the other side of that, the first time I ever went to Abbey Road, I felt it. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. But, I didn't go in the building. I'm actually in the street.
Off?
What's that?
Did you take your shoes off?
No. I thought about it, but no. But yeah, so you're in the street, you're in the spot, where the album cover was shot. But other than that, you're just looking from the outside at a building. Yeah. But I kind of felt it a little bit. So I don't know. But going to somebody's childhood home, I don't know. I just feel it crosses the line. All right. It is almost noon, and we have not heard any tunes yet. So that's a bad thing.
How long is the show?
We go, well, unless you guys have to go, we go till 12:30.
Okay.
And then there's another show at 1, so I have to throw people out of here. So you guys are good till 12:30? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And you're cool with playing a tune?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. Anything you want, whatever you feel like playing.
Call it.
Let's noodle first. Let's noodle.
Noodle.
Gonna noodle.
Look at a noodle.
You want to improvise a little bit? Improvise some blues a little bit?
Okay, sure. Play something.
Well, I have to warm up my voice a little. I got a girl I got a box on heartache and it's tied at my side. It's filled with a history of mystery that I can't seem to hide. I've got a whole lot of nothing. It's been weighing me down. I got a monkey on my shoulder. She been driving me insane. She say no way that I can hold her, but I won't let go. My covering. I love a girl down in Atlanta. She strips on the side. She makes a ton of money, girl. She shows them what they like. She's got a whole lot of nothing. It's been weighing her down. She got a body of a sinner and a story full of pain. She says she's waiting on a winner to fill up her cup of rain. Consult the lover's Bible, just one golden rule. It's that you do unto love before love does unto you. It leads a whole lot of nothing. It's been weighing me down. I got a heart of a gambler with everything to gain. So I'm going to Atlanta. I've got to end my pain. I'm gonna build my girl a home and give up my cup of rain.
That was fantastic. Now you guys just made that up, or did you end up playing a song that you wrote?
That's a song we wrote a long time
ago.
Oh,
okay.
In sort of a different tempo that Rich had to improvise over my new tempo.
That was cool.
I didn't even know what we were doing.
Well, right, because he said something about noodling around, so I thought maybe you made that up on the spot, but okay.
Well, the arrangement was...
right.
His part was completely different than what he originally played, so I didn't play anything like what I had played.
Right. For all those guys out there who play in tribute bands, who have to play the same music night after night.
Yeah.
I feel it's like a gift to give to a musician who plays the same music night after night.
Sure, I bet.
There you go. Run with that. Enjoy yourself.
Very nice.
I've heard something that one of the guitar players in the Grateful Dead had said about Jerry. Maybe it had been Weir. Had said, I like to do it differently every single time. So when he arrives at the end of his solo, I'm playing a different chord. I'm playing it differently each time he comes out of his solo.
Well, and that's Dylan too, right? Plays his songs differently, almost on each night, almost, right? Yeah. Who are all right? Let me ask you both: favorite bands, and then maybe one or two bands that you're just like, I don't get it. I don't understand what people see in this band or artist. Either one.
I have a problem with Rick Astley.
Rick Astley?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I have a huge problem with him.
And what?
And his dad. No, I'm kidding. Everybody loves Rick. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, I find that song to be kind of poppy, annoying in a poppy way.
Right. Yes.
But people love him.
Oh yeah,
he's like a meme unto himself.
He's built a career off pretty much one or two songs, right?
Yeah, and the relationship with his dad, right? His dad is like used to go to his shows with Rick. I'm Rick's dad or something.
Oh,
you
is
know
that
a lot
right?
more about him. I probably know more than I should.
I was going to ask, how do you know? Why are you up on your Rick Astley? Yeah. Is that true though? His dad used to go to the shows with I'm the dad.
Dad still does.
Really?
Yeah. And fans love him, and he's like a star in his own right.
Is he trying to
You know, I don't know. I don't know Rick Astley's mom, but from what I understand.
Wow. All right. Okay. So is that but who are some of your favorites? I don't know where to go with that. But
I don't know. We listened to a lot of pretty hard rock records when we were younger. So,
oh yeah.
Cheap Trick had just come out. Like
Nice.
Budokan, that I remember listening to in your bedroom, man. We used to have a blast listening to that record.
What a great record.
And Fog Hat.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Fog Hat record. Did they only make one record?
No, they made a lot of records.
They're from Long Island, weren't they?
They're from England, and they settled, I think, in the Port Jeff area.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but only the drummer's still alive, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like what's his name too? Richie Blackmore. You know, he settled in the Port Jeff area as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Still there, if I'm not mistaken. How about you, Rich? What some of your favorites and not so favorites?
Well, high school, I spent 2 years doing nothing but smoking weed and listening to Black Sabbath.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
Which is what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your denim jacket, right?
Yeah, all of that.
Yep, hanging out in the
around
breezeways.
the fire and the bomb going around, all of that. Yeah.
They got their final show coming.
Yeah.
Poor Ozzy, you know, not doing well, but nice to see the 4 original guys are going to do one last show together. That'd be cool.
It's amazing that they're all still alive.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
especially Ozzy. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of bands you could say that about.
Yeah, I think Skinner. I don't think there's any of them, right?
No, he just died. The last guitar player.
Gary Rossington. Yeah.
Gary,
And David Johansen's dying of cancer, so he's the last New York Doll.
Is that right? He's the last one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just saw somebody posted on the internet a picture of him in the hospital. Did you saw that?
I saw that too.
Oh, that was sad. And he doesn't look good. That's tough. Is it weird? I've mentioned it here before on the show. It's weird that some of these guys that we've admired, whether it's a sports team or a musician, like it's weird getting old and seeing these guys on their way out. Yeah. You're going to laugh at me, but I'm a big Monkees fan, so it is sad to me to see that Mickey is the last. In fact, today is Peter Tork's 83rd birthday.
Wow.
I'm geeking out. Sorry,
I took a songwriting class that Peter Tork was the co-instructor of.
Really?
Yeah. First day, I sat down, and it was maybe 8 or 10 people and a couple of instructors, and that sort of thing was so common in New York back in the day.
Yeah.
And Peter had come in, and as soon as he sat down, he didn't. I hadn't seen him as an older man. There was no internet then. I had no idea. And I looked right at him and how do I know this guy? And the whole hour or whatever it was, I'm thinking, how do I know this guy? How do I know this guy? End of class, I go to one of the instructors to go, how do I know this guy? So Peter Tork, he was in a band called the Monkees. Did you ever hear?
So he never actually said who he was? He just sat there giving instructions?
Peter.
Oh, just Peter.
He
this
didn't
is our friend
say,
Peter.
I'm Peter Tork, I was in the Monkees. There was none of that.
Wow.
And for a very, very long time, I had handwritten notes that he'd given me about songs that I was working on.
Nice.
And stuff, but we lost those in the flood.
You lost that too.
We put out this record 20 years after recording it. And man, that's such a longer story. But anyway, I had used money that was left to me by my dad when my dad passed away. He was not a big fan of me being in the music business.
Oh, wow.
And after we released the record, and before our band Facebook page got hacked, there was a flood in my house on the anniversary of my dad's birthday.
Oh, my goodness.
And it took every piece of music I'd ever written, every word, every page that I'd ever written, washed away.
Oh, that must have been heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. The thing is, the funny part of it is, it's kind of like par for the course in terms of the music that we've done in every stage. It wasn't a wave. We got like tsunamied. I don't know if Rich, you want to tell him about the record release party in September.
Oh yeah, and then there was like we had rehearsed in the city,
right,
for the record release of the second one.
It was our second record, yeah.
And there was supposed to be some industry people coming, and the date of the gig was September 12th, 2001.
Come on.
At Brownie's in the Alphabet City in
Yep,
New York.
I know of it, yeah.
So
Holy
just so you
cow.
know, so the press for it, we had posters printed. The poster was a picture of me, but the single was a single called "I'm Gonna Hurt You."
Oh, jeez.
And the way we chose to promote the record is with like ransom letters, "I'm gonna hurt you," like cut out of a magazine.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And hung them all over Wall Street, all over Alphabet City, all over 250 or 300 posters,
Holy
all
shit.
over 2 or 3 days. In fact, as morbid as it is, sometimes when I see footage, and I look for the posters because I hung so many of them.
Right.
I can't even imagine people walking through what they went through and seeing that. Like, so we had some pretty bad turns.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So the flood being on your father's birthday, and then that.
Oh, there's so many things like that.
That
so
is the
many.
craziest thing. And I know the answer. I'm gonna ask anyway. You didn't go through with the party, I'm assuming, the release party.
New York was shut down.
Holy crap! I was actually in the city on September 9th, 2001, and a buddy of mine who's a photographer. We actually looked at the Twin Towers, and whatever bridge we were on, we saw the Twin Towers, and it was just like September 11th. It was a bright, beautiful, sunny day. And I'll never forget, he actually said to me, he goes, "Look at the Twin Towers, because I wish I had my camera. This would make a great picture." 2 days later, they were gone. Yeah, I remember calling them like we couldn't believe it. But your story, holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever stop and say, like, these are all signs? We should just put the guitars down.
I
holy
did.
shit!
You know when? Like about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, yeah, no, not at the time. I mean, who would? I mean, if you're a comedian and you're going to go up and do stand-up and you're terrible and you let people go, "Look, man, you suck at this." If you let people say that to you, you'll never know whether or not you're good
true,
at it.
but believe me, most comedians that walk through these hallways will tell you that, "Oh yeah, I went through a period where I stopped for a month because I thought I was, I couldn't, I just didn't have what it takes." Yeah. They all go through it. It's tough. So, if the stars align, so is that the name of the band or is that the name of the album? Is that both?
It's the name of the project.
Oh, okay.
So when we used to perform under my name as a singer-songwriter, it never quite fit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you astute listeners watching on the internet, may have looked up my name. So the thing is that I'm the only Carmin Turco in the world.
No kidding.
If you spell my name correctly, I'm the only one.
I'm doing it right
And
now.
I really did think that would have been a benefit to us, having a unique name that people would, remember. They didn't.
Yeah, all right. I'm seeing Tricycle. Is that yours?
That was the second record, yeah.
Okay.
Look for Angel.
There it is. I see it.
Man.
I see Angel. There it is.
Thanks, everybody. Look on the internet now, and you'll. It's not a terrible picture. I mean, I always thought it was a beautiful picture. The fact that it was taken by a pedophile is a completely different issue.
And and it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think that from looking at it. You wouldn't be. You don't look at it and be like, "Oh, that's." It just looks like a.
No, in
like
fact,
art.
the image, for those of you now looking it up online, that image, the reason I am aware of that image is because it was used to promote the 250-year anniversary of a Pentecostal church in the town near where I was living at the time. So the image itself, was used in a variety of different ways, not just for our record.
Wow, that's interesting. Excuse me.
We kind of evolved into a band.
Okay.
When I first started playing with Carmin, we played with two other guys that he grew up with. It was a little, I guess, a little shambolic, really, our performances, and then that ended, and Carmin brought back the drummer that he had used previously, and I brought in a bass player that I worked with a lot too. So when we recorded the Angel album, Carmin was bringing in friends and stuff to do guest appearances on the songs, and we functioned more like his backup musicians.
Okay.
And then we started playing together live. And when we were doing the Tricycle record, that's the sound of us becoming a band.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was very laborious to make, but then we kept playing, and through it we became a band. We became a very tight band that really knew how to work together, which is unusual for original music. That isn't, that's not, touring the world or anything like that, where gigs are sporadic, and all of that. And then when we were making the third record, there's a freshness in our performances that, like, we're confident, we know each other,
You're building a chemistry.
We played those songs out live too.
Some of them,
which helps,
right? Some of them,
yeah.
And then the other ones that we weren't playing live, Carmin would email me his demos, and I charted out for the band. I kind of come up with my guitar parts which would sort of push it in one direction or another.
Sure.
And then we'd show up in the studio. I'd hand the charts up to the other two guys, and 2 hours later we'd have a take.
Nice.
So it sounds fresh like that.
And that's If the Stars Align album.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then it got abandoned before it was complete.
Without Rich's input, I don't think the record would have sounded like that. I mean, Rich put a lot of work into the musicality, how all the instruments fit together, not just the guitars. And if you listen to the record, there's 2 or 3 tracks of guitars on some of those songs where Rich is layered. In fact, the original recordings had even more of just wonderfully layered guitar work, and it makes the record sound the way it did.
So in 20 years from now, when we get the deluxe edition, we'll hear those the original takes, right? Can we? So we have 15 minutes left. Can we get a song from that album? Is that possible?
Can we get a song from that album, Rich?
Yeah, we can get a song from that album.
Which song are we going to get from that album?
Is that all right?
Do you want to do Ben's favorite?
Oh, right. Yeah, we could do that one. So here's a funny story. 2? see how great of a musical director he is? He just made me into the right key. So this is a song that was one of the original ones that we worked on. When we first started working on songs together, this is one of the original ones. And I always liked it, and it always did well live. It had a lot of dynamics when we played it with the other guys. Yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about that. And so we had it. We played it live. It didn't go onto the first record. It didn't go onto the second record.
I kept lobbying for this song all along.
I don't know why we didn't. Do you remember why?
I think you wanted to leave it behind because you were writing new stuff.
And it's kind of a very traditional Dave Runk kind of ballad that way. Dave Runk. So, yeah, I lost my pick.
I have some over here, actually.
This'll do. I got it.
You got it? You good? Okay.
So the funny thing about it was we recorded it together, and when I was putting the songs together to bring to Ben Wish, this song we recorded really well. It came out really great. So I brought it to him, and while we were working on the record, he happened to mention that this was, of all the songs, this one was his favorite, which I thought was funny because it's such an old song, and it's in such a, well, you'll hear it. Hold on.
What's it called?
My Sailing Away.
I thought Ben's preference for the song sort of validated my whole
Right.
opinion of it all
Did you do
along.
that? You're like, I told you so, mother.
I didn't need to.
Okay. We'll do our best with it, yeah? That doesn't sound right. I'm sorry, folks. Gotta wait one more second.
It's fine, no problem.
Acclamation.
If the Stars Align, available on all the streaming services. Go get it.
Enough? If you start in New York Harbor, north as the Hudson River winds, with the wind at your back, if you tighten your tack and you loosen up your lines, there's a town right on the water, on the river's eastern shore. It's got plenty of food and plenty of booze and $7 whores, yeah. There's a girl back in Virginia I would have made my wife, but when the bottle attacked, she never came back, and I never learned how to write. You see, I was never much for learning, and there wasn't much left there for me. So I started a roam, and I found my home in a ship out on the sea. Yes, a ship out on the sea. I was face down in the gutter, and this was the promise I made, to stop on my sailing away. I've done my time at the shipyard. I've got stories from decades of war, when the heart has grown cold and the bones have grown old. I may die in this town by the shore. I may die in this town by the shore. I was face down in the gutter, and this was the promise I made. Stop all my sailing away. Stop all my sailing away. I spent my winters hibernating. I had time to remember when come to cold, cold spring. A younger man would have left here again. I would have just left here again. I may die here in the springtime, when the ice and snow melt away, and they'll dig my grave. He couldn't be saved. May his spirit always stay. And may his spirit always stay face down in the gutter. Do you remember the promise I made? Stop all my sailing. Stop all my sailing away.
was fantastic.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
And that's a perfect example of what I was talking about before, because I messed up in the bridge, but I thought I did a good job of covering it.
Didn't notice a thing, man. It was awesome.
I thought it was me messing up in the bridge.
Yeah, no, that was mine.
That to me was if Gordon Lightfoot and Paul Simon wrote a song together. That's what that sounded like, with some great guitar work. Didn't notice a single mistake.
We had someone come up to us after a show at the Mercury, someone who had come to see a bunch of our shows. And he ran up to me after we were loading up the car. He goes, I get it now. You're like James Taylor, and Richie's like Jimmy Page. And together, and I was like, really? That's the way we're coming off?
That's
Taylor
interesting.
and
That's
Jimmy
interesting.
Page? Jimmy and James?
I mean, it's not a bad, not a bad comparison. Two amazing.
How about a
I think the same guy came up to me and said, I get it now. It's Carmen's folk songs, and you're just slapping your rock guitar all over it.
Joe Scalo says, great playing as always. Great songs.
Thanks, Joe.
I Play Loud says, I see this with 10 minutes left, better than nothing. I Play Loud, whoever you are, when the show's over, we're live right now, but when the show's over, it's there on YouTube, so go on back and watch the whole thing. I Play Loud also says, Richie uses his pinky on the A for the win.
Ah.
What's that?
Did that make sense to you?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and we're getting a lot of compliments are coming in. People are enjoying the
Thank you,
enjoying the
everybody.
tunes. All right, so we got 5 minutes left. What are the day jobs? Do you not? Or are you guys full-time musicians?
No, I work in technology
Oh.
as my day job, so that gives me some freedom to.
Sure.
Play
Does that you overlay any of that technology use into your music?
We did when we did the show for the deaf students at in Jackson
Sure.
Heights. There was a lot of technology.
So you were the guy behind all that?
in that, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, Mark helped too. Our bass player helped me out a lot with that. He was a tech guy too.
Richie, are you a full-time musician? Or?
No, I do some work for a vending company that allows me to make my own hours.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm here without asking permission for a day off.
That's nice, right? That's very nice. All right. Memorable gigs. Like, I don't know, maybe the audience was great, maybe the audience sucked, maybe somebody we all know jumped on stage with you guys. Anything memorable. Maybe somebody fell.
Wow, memorable. I remember that one gig that we did. We were on the bill with a bunch of other acts. People were yelling out, "Fuck you!" And some girl said that we look old. This was over 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
We looked much older then.
Well, she's old now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so fuck her.
Exactly.
There was a show we did. I think we're talking about the same show, and we'd done a show and we'd done pretty well, so we got a second shot at it. And I think we did okay the second time. We didn't, and it's all about numbers, right? Everybody knows that. It's all about bringing people in.
Yep.
And the guy said to me, and I later heard, I think I heard it in a movie, but when I went up after our second show where we didn't have quite the crowd, and I said, you think we can get another gig? And he goes, look, I got to tell you, you got to bring in a lot more people. He said, I can't give you another show.
Yeah.
He said, look at these guys. They're from Pennsylvania, and they've packed a club. Well, it was a hard rock band, and they rented a bus, and everyone in the club was underage.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess we could have done that too. And he said, and this is the part from the movie, he said, I don't care if you fart on the snare drum. If it brings in people, I will book you.
Right.
And I was like, it's so demoralizing. It's absolutely demoralizing.
I hear you. Wow. That seems to be the theme today. Everything is underage. All right. Lastly, before we go, I do this with a lot of guests. I looked on Facebook, saw some mutual friends. I'm going to throw some names out. You might not even know them. Maybe they're just a Facebook friend, so you don't have to say anything. You can say anything you want or not say anything at all about these people. I have like five names. Deanna D.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know her.
Oh, okay. Well, she is.
Deanna, you're beautiful inside.
She's the lead singer of Emerald Rising. Does that help? With Tom Cavanaugh? She's also a Heart tribute. She's the lead singer in a Heart tribute band also. Okay. No? Okay. Dennis Del Gaudio.
Familiar with his name.
He was, was he the Mystic or one of those bands?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never met him.
Okay. Johnny Mac.
Johnny Mac.
The Johnny Mac band? No?
Yes, I've met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy. He's been in here many times. Great guitar player. There's a girl, I'm going to throw a name out. This is a girl I went to high school with that's on your friends list. Maria Hilvati Sanchez.
No.
No? Okay. Mike Jewell.
Mike Jewell, yes. I've met Mike Jewell.
Okay. He's not a part of Desert Highway?
No.
Has he sat in with Desert Highway? Keyboard player.
I believe he's way back.
Yeah. Great keyboard player. All right, the last name I have, because I'm batting 1,000 here, Rich Russacone. Guitar player.
Yeah, I don't think I've met him.
Okay.
Either.
All right, well, there you go.
Oh, well.
That went well. All right. Yes, and I played loud, says Dennis Del Gaudio, did play with Billy Joel. Yeah, what was it, the Shea Stadium show? When they were closing Shea Stadium, I believe he was one of the guitar players there. Okay. So once again, if thestarsalign.com.
Yep.
Okay. And it's also all over the streaming services. Where else? Socials, where can people find you? Upcoming gigs. We mentioned some before, but mention them again. And what anything else you want to mention?
Well, Saturday, I have 2 shows at the Downtown Cabaret Theater in Bridgeport with Desert Highway.
Okay, cool.
And then on the 23rd, Bowie Station is playing at the Warehouse.
Oh, very nice.
I think we start at 4 o'clock. It's a Sunday.
Cool. Very nice. And Carmin?
No, I mean, we released the record, and it's all there on digital.
When did it come out?
Zeros. August, on Rich's birthday, the 29th. 29th.
Okay. I think we got to, I think it's going to be another 10 years before something happens.
It might be 10 years before something happens.
Because previous to working with Carmin, I worked with another cousin of mine, and we had a band called Simon Bar Sinister, and we wallowed in obscurity for a few years too.
Oh, okay.
But 30 years after we broke up, one of our songs appeared in Ray Donovan the movie.
Oh, no kidding.
I think they ran out of budget because the Stones and the Black Crowes were in that.
Yeah, right.
And they needed a song, and they said, and somehow they found Simon Bar Sinister.
Wow.
It plays on a jukebox in the background where, what's that actor's name? He's a famous actor.
I still didn't watch it.
Liv Schreiber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Schreiber,
okay, yeah.
Wow.
And you don't know how they found it?
I think one of the guys put it up on CD Baby, and then it, from there they own the publishing for as long as it's on there, and somebody, I guess, scoured CD Baby for something that would work, and they picked it.
Wow.
So
that's great.
So Rich's estimation is another 10 years of waiting, and then you'll see hear one of our songs
in a movie.
In a movie.
Something.
Sure. Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Sopranos reboot.
Every now and then I get a royalty check for, about $3.82.
From the Ray Donovan movie? Yeah. Thanks, Ray, for the $3. Yeah. Very nice. All right, well, at least you could say your song's in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's cool. All right, it is time for us to go. Gentlemen, thank you very much. This was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Definitely, maybe you'll, somewhere down the road, we'll do this again. We'd love to have you guys back. Really enjoyed the music,
Tony.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
That was great. All right, time for us to get out of here. So we got Peter Schwartz and Sports Bash coming up at 1 o'clock. Today's Thursday. I believe that's it for today. Coffee with the Dog tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then I'm back here tomorrow with Rosie Fiumara, and comedian Tom Kelly will be joining us. I don't know if he's coming in or if we're Zooming, but Tom Kelly will be joining us at some point. You can see Tom Kelly in the club tonight, and you can see him at the Brokerage. I believe it's on Saturday. Some other comedians you can see on the Governor's stage this weekend. Ismo is playing the club this weekend. Terry McNeely, Lou Pratz, Billy Geyer, Joe Curry, Linda Marcus Smith, Teddy Smith, Keith Anthony, and like I mentioned, Tom Kelly and Chris Lamberth. Just some of the comedians you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend. And that'll do it. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll see you in a half hour with Peter Schwartz. Once again, Richie Naso and Carmin Turco. Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun. All right, we're out. See you guys later.